Hello, welcome to Faye's Ever Expanding Bookshelf. I'm Faye, and I figured it was time to pick out my TBR for January. I have a few different challenges that I'm trying to complete throughout the year, as one of which is reading more of the books that are already on my shelf, which this is actually the first time I've had this many books on my shelf that I haven't read yet, so I kind of got a massive amount of gifted books over the last year from some of my family, and I just haven't gotten around to reading most of them. So I made my little TBR jar, which also has prompts for my different reading challenges, as well as literally every unread book on my shelf, which I think at last count was like 98. Maybe 100. Kind of insane for me to think about having that many books that I haven't read yet. So I want to try to read more of those. So I basically took and I wrote down every title that I have on my shelf that I haven't read and put in here, as well as the 3 different challenges that I'm doing for the year, which is 25 for 25, a read diversely challenge, which I put different prompts in there for that, and then Pride reading challenge, which is more prompts that revolve around the LGBTQIA plus and prompts for those. Without further ado, the plan is to draw 3 books out of here, and then the reason for only 3 is because I usually have either an ARC read, or I'm actually looking at trying to do some buddy reads, and so I don't want to overdo it for myself, because I know personally I can read 6 to 7 books in a month, but that doesn't mean that I want to make a list of that many and then have to read those and then feel bad when I don't read them. So I'm going to pick 3 titles out of here to kind of be like, I definitely want to read these books for this month. And then that way it leaves me a spot for a book for an ARC read, and then also some wiggle room to just kind of pick whatever I want. And the rules that I'm going to follow are this. I can, if I pull a title out of here and I'm just not feeling it, I can put it back. However, I can only do that once. And then as far as the prompts, I have to try to make the prompt fit, or find a book off of my physical shelf to fit one of these prompts, to kind of help narrow down the amount of books that I have on my shelf that haven't been read. I'm giving these a little bit of a more thorough mix. Start here. So, well, obviously this one must be wanting to be read. So the first book that I pulled is Love and Other Natural Disasters by Misa Segura? I'm not sure if I said any of that right. It's Love and Other Natural Disasters by Misa Sugiura. This is actually a YA book. The back of the book says, Naomi has it all planned out. A summer in San Francisco, check. The perfect internship, check. Fake dating the girl of her dreams, check. The next step, turn her romance with the perfect girl into something real, but when it comes to love, there's no such thing as the perfect plan. So apparently this is one of my not favorite tropes, which is fake dating, but it is LGBT, so I think I'll enjoy this. We will put this to the side as book number 1 for our TBR. And then I think what I'm going to do is all the ones that I pull out, I'm going to put in this little jar to kind of like keep track of the ones that I pulled. And that way by the end of the year, this will be empty, my little cauldron, and hopefully this will be full. So that's going to be book number 1, and then we're going to go for our next book, and we're going to try to go for a prompt this time. Okay. One of the prompts on my Read with Pride challenge is found family but make it queer. So basically the found family trope, but preferably something that's LGBT. So what do I have that can fit that? I have an idea, but I do have to check to see if it will actually fit that. And it is called By Curious. Unsure if it's going to be in there. However, it is a book about queer kids and playing Dungeons and Dragons. So there's a good chance that that is in here. So I will put this to the side. I think this is going to end up being that book, but I will have to check. I will update after I've had some time. But if I go with this one, by Curious, is a sapphic tabletop RPG romance. So it's essentially, it's a contemporary romance, but it's about these two kids that are playing D&D. I'm sorry, it's Die Curious. I keep reading it as By because of the font of this book. But I should have probably picked up on that because it has a little die in the middle there. So it's Die Curious. Anyway, I will come back to that. I'm going to make sure that's what I'm going to actually use for that. And then next up, we have... Okay, so I got one of my 25 for 2025 reading prompts, which is book with dragons in it. So I'm going to try to find a book on my shelf that has to center around dragons. So I found the perfect book for a book with dragons. And that's going to be The Dragon Shifters Meet. Yes, I know it's Dragon Shifters, but they're dragons, so it counts. It's also a sapphic story. It's about, all Charlotte wants is a single fantastical memory to get her through the mundane life of a peasant. As the breadwinner for 5 little sisters and an unsupportive mother who would rather see her alone than with another woman, Charlotte can only hope for one glimpse of the mysterious dragon shifters. Coivolota, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, and I'm going to be honest, it's going to be changed to something else in my head, has a problem that can only be solved with blood. After returning to her homeland for mating season and discovering a lack of sapphic females, she has to shift into her seldom used human form to escape her mating instincts. Only the blood of a human allows her to shift. This particular book is essentially just... It's kind of like it sounds like it's going to be insta-lovey, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Maybe it's just going to be insta-lust, since the dragon just really wants to not have to get it on with, not a lady dragon. Also brings up some questions of how dragons meet, personally. But it's a short little read. I just got this actually as a present for the holidays. I'm looking forward to reading this. So I'm going to use that for the book with dragons. That's going to be on my list. And then I pulled Love and Other Natural Disasters as my actual title one came out. And then... One eternity later. Okay, so it took a little bit of time to find a book for the Found family, but Make It Queer, that was on my shelf. Just because I didn't know what all the books that are on here are about, since they were, like I said, a lot of them were gifts. So I did finally land on So This Is Ever After. It actually has been on my shelf for a while, but this book does have that found family trope. Had to do a little digging to find out whether or not it would fit, but it looks like it will. So this one I think is going to be really good. And so I did fill out all 3 of my picks. I picked, again, Love and Other Natural Disasters by Misa Sugiura. Again, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens, and then The Dragon Shifters Meet by L. Lovesick. And if you're looking at these, you're probably going to notice that the thing that they have in common is, even though I picked different tropes from different, or different prompts from different categories, they're all queer. A lot of the books on my shelf are. Apparently I forgot the outro, but thanks for watching as I learn how to do this YouTube thing.